Have you ever noticed how cruel the voice in your head can get when life starts to fall apart? Relationship pain becomes, I'm not worth loving at all. Illness becomes, I'm just broken. Money trouble becomes, I'll never be enough. Loneliness becomes, maybe nobody will ever see me. And before long, you're not just going through pain anymore. You're letting pain tell you who you are. And that's why the NeverEnding Story hits so deeply. Beneath the fantasy, it asks a terrifying question. What happens when the voice inside your story turns against you? What happens when the nothing stops being out there and becomes the narrator in your own mind? Human beings are meaning makers. We talked about that in the beginning. We don't just remember what happened, we have to interpret it. We can connect the dots, but pain can teach us to connect them in the wrong way. Rejection becomes, I'm unwanted. Failure becomes, I'm nothing. Grief becomes, nothing beautiful lasts. Disappointment becomes, never dream like that again. That's where the nothing begins. The nothing is the belief that your voice no longer matters, that your story is already over, that whatever name pain gave you is the name that you have to live with. So in this final episode, we ask, what is real strength? This film gives us two pictures. We haven't talked about him yet, but there's the Rockbiter. He's the biggest, strongest character in the story. Literally, dude is made of stone. If anyone should survive the nothing, it should be this guy. But after he loses all his friends, there's a famous line. He looks down at his hands and he says, "They look like big, strong hands, don't they?" And that line is painful because we understand it. He had strength, size, and literally made of stone on the outside, but he couldn't hold on to what he loved, to the people he loved. And a lot of us spend our lives trying to become the Rockbiter. Hard enough that nothing can hurt us, smart enough to figure everything out, responsible enough to hold everything together, and strong enough to never need help. But eventually, life's gonna bring something that our hands just cannot hold. And we wonder, wasn't I supposed to be stronger than this? Maybe true strength was never about being stone or being big or any of those things. Because there's another picture of strength in the story, and that is the little boy Bastian. He's a child grieving, bullied by kids at school and hiding in an attic. He has no sword, no armor, no special powers. Just a broken kid. And yet when he opens that window in the storm at the end and cries out, "I will do what I dream," that voice becomes the strongest force in the whole story because he's finally answering. The childlike empress has been calling him. The story has been reaching out to him the whole time. Fantasia does not need him to be impressive. It needs him to believe his voice matters. And that is childlike strength. Not childishness or foolishness. Childlikeness receives life. Childlikeness says, I am willing to be led. Some of the oldest stories connect creation itself to speech. In Genesis, the world begins when a voice enters into the chaos, the wild and waste, or formless and void. Not violence, not dominion or magic powers, a voice. Let there be, and it was. Whether you see that spiritually, symbolically, or psychologically, it points to something powerful. Words matter. Names matter. The story we speak over our lives matters. Speech is one way something invisible becomes visible. A thought becomes a sentence. A wound becomes a confession. A dream becomes a direction. A name becomes an identity. A blessing can change a child. An apology can rebuild a bridge. A song can give pain a language. A true word spoken in love can push back the nothing in your own heart, in your own life. Not because we control reality by force, but because we are not meant to be silent spectators in our own lives. We're meant to participate. And that's what Bastian discovers. He does not save Fantasia by becoming the strongest, the most powerful, or the smartest. He does not save it by figuring everything out. He does not save it when pain disappears. He saves it when he literally stops letting the nothing speak for him and tell him his story. Answers back, he calls out, And when he speaks the new name, Fantasia begins again. Not as a finished world, but all that's left is a tiny grain of sand, or a mustard seed, if you will. And that matters, because when your world collapses, grace doesn't always hand you back everything that you lost right away. Sometimes grace gives you a glowing seed and says, start here. One true word, one honest prayer, one dream that refuses to die, one moment where you stop letting the nothing give you in your story its name. Because the nothing has names for you. Unwanted, broken, too much, you're not enough, forgotten, failure, finished. But the nothing is a liar. Your rejection is not your name. Your diagnosis is not your name. Your worst day is not your name. Your fear is not your name. Your failure is not your name. Your pain may be part of your story, but it does not get to be the author. Maybe healing begins when the false story loses its authority. When love asks you to answer back, because the story changes when Bastian speaks. And maybe yours does too. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not with the whole world restored overnight. But maybe it starts with one grain of sand, one true word, one impossible hope, an act of courage, a moment where you stop trying to become stone and finally speak. This is not the last chapter. The nothing does not get the final word. Your story is not over. Thank you for taking this adventure with me, and if you haven't at this point, go back, watch the NeverEnding Story, take it in and reflect. And if you're so inclined, that would be a good time to say a little prayer. And I'll just thank everyone for taking this journey with me, and God bless you, and I look forward to doing more of these in the future. Alrighty, that's it. Veritas Heart, signing off.